Hello, welcome to I Read This Book with Chris. This is a book haul, so these are all books that I have not read. I did not read this book yet with Chris. Book haul. Drink in an iced latte. So this past weekend, me and my wife drove about 3 hours to go to a book sale, a library book sale. Her work is selling books online, and I do that too with her. Part of the reason we enjoy it is that it helps us build our own libraries. I'm going to start with the stuff I got on the way back. There is a bookstore. We drop off some books where we get some store credit. And I got some P.G. Wodehouse. There you go. A good little selection. I have a very large collection. I got 2 books that I don't have. Mulliner Nights by P.G. Wodehouse. It's a very nice vintage paperback. I really enjoy the paperbacks. And The Butler did that. I don't know if you can read. The spine is a bit faded. The Butler did it. So these will be good. And then I got, these were duplicates. I did not know that if I had them, and I don't mind having duplicates of Wodehouse. I really enjoyed these old orange Penguin. This one I didn't know I had either. This is more modern printing. Not the biggest fan of those, but it is a nice one. It's a good reading copy because some of the older books are a little more fragile. This one I knew I had, but I have a modern printing, so this is a nice old hardcover. Look of the Bodkins. And Piccadilly Jim, I was sure I didn't have. I actually do. So that is 6 Wodehouse. At that same store, I got these 2 books as well. Keith Lomer, The Great Time Machine Hoax. I am a giant fan of time travel in movies and in books. I've read a couple Keith Lomer. The Dinosaur Beach one, I believe, was Keith Lomer. Very good. And this one is actually a double feature. So it's 2 books in one. I really like those as well. There's The Other Sky and The House in November. I don't know anything about these, except they're both by Keith Laumer. Big fan, as I said. And it's a double feature. Alrighty, so I spent on those 8 books, it was about $20. I had some store credit to bring those down, and some other store credit. They have a weird system where some store credit gives you, some books you bring in for trade give you store credit, other ones bring down mass market paperbacks and the like to half price. So I got a nice stack of analog science fiction magazine. These are all 1967, 1968 are in order. I am missing the July 1967, but it goes from May 1967, don't have the July, and then it goes up to April of 1968. So I have 11 of them. This is good because there are a lot of serials in these old magazines, which doesn't really make sense to read unless you have the whole thing. So I should have several serials in these because these are all connected, which will be good. Plus, there always find some interesting short stories and some authors you haven't read before. So big fan, good stack. Next, these are some time travel books. So there is Replay by Ken Grimwood. What if you could live your life over again? It's got a cool thing because you can flip it. Let's see. A phenomenal time-tripping adventure as exciting as Back to the Future and romantic as Peggy Sue Got Married. Jeff Winston, whose midlife heart attack plunged him into a 25-year time warp, you'd probably become the richest and most powerful man in the world. Or maybe if you met another replayer, like the beautiful Pamela, you'd learn the true meaning of timeless love. Either way, the possibilities are endless. Fun little time travel. Time and Again by Clifford D. Simak. Clifford D. Simak, I haven't read a whole lot of him, but he's one of the earlier guys who pumped out a lot of stuff. This one was written in published in 1951. A book from the far future was his ticket through time. What would you think if you found an old book signed with your name and learned it bore a date in the distant future? It happened to Ashton Sutton when he set out to investigate the incredible enigma. He found that book, a passport and ticket to a galactic empire that many thousands of years from now. It's a concept just from that I think I've read in a couple short stories, and definitely read about when people are talking about time travel and if it's possible or not, or different ways time travel would happen. Don't know a whole lot about it, but it should be a fun little read. The Jewels of Elsewhere. Really fun cover. It's a little slanted. He unlocked the door to 4 different worlds, discovered a passage to another time, but could he find his way back to his own world? By Ted White. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ted White before. Belmont science fiction. I don't know that I have any books by Belmont. It's definitely not one of the more popular ones, but it is certainly funky. Here. I don't know if that'll focus. Looks like it kind of is. That is going to be a nice little quick small read. Now, the next 3 are all of the double features. This one is The Time Mercenaries. I don't know whether or not it's time travel, and it's by Philip E. High. What port awaited the end of their 1,000 years beneath the sea? And on the other end is Lewis Trimble, Secret Mission to Save a Hostile World, Anthropole. Once again, haven't heard of either of those people. It's by Ace Double. I think Ace often put on some of these double features some of the authors that were newer. And a lot of these are reprints from magazines because they could get them pretty cheap and see whether or not these guys would sell. Haven't heard of either of them, but it'll be fun. Builds my double collection. Let's see. Here's another one. Meeting at Infinity by John Brunner. I've heard of John Brunner. Have not read a whole lot by him. And then Beyond the Silver Sky by Kenneth Bulmer. Have not read any of him. This guy is a little fragile. Nothing's really falling apart yet, but the spine is not in great shape. Well, that's alright. It's my 3rd double feature of the day, and here's my 4th one. These are by Poul Anderson, The War of the Two Worlds. I've read 1 or 2 books by him. Nothing that really stood out. And then this is another John Brunner. Threshold of Eternity. All time and space was their battlefield. This might be another time travel. Kind of hard to say based off that. So that makes it 4 double features. And these are ones you don't really come across a whole lot of them. Alrighty, these next ones are just some sci-fi. Generic, not time travel, not double feature. There's Jumper by Stephen Gould. I believe I've seen the movie that this is based off. This doesn't say it's based off it. So the movie's probably based off this book. It's a pretty good movie. Nothing super amazing to say. But the book's in great condition. Spine looks quite good. Yeah, good little collection. Terry Pratchett, I don't think I have this one before in his Discworld series. I am building it up. If I have this one, then I'll sell it. But not in the best condition. It's a little warped, but Terry Pratchett, always a good read. Let's see. This one I picked up just because it's really old, but also in really good condition. So a lot of the old sci-fi, yeah, I'm not sure if I can show it. This is your generic old paperback size. This one is the same width, but a little bit shorter. I'm not sure if you can see that real well. And that's generally, plus the price is only 40 cents to tell this is older. So this one's 1962 printing. The company was a powerful, efficient, and monstrous organization that controlled the entire world, scientifically regulating everything in life. War, epidemics, one-a-day food pills, and test tube sex all through the use of its patented, terrifying human deep freeze vault. Extraordinary prophetic novel of the world of tomorrow from an ingenious mind of today. And on the front, it mentions 1984. So we'll see if this goes just in my generic sci-fi collection or more of a utopian, dystopian shelf. Either way, should be a good little read. The Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World by Harry Harrison. This is my third one that I have in this set, in this series. I've read one of them before, and then I got another one that I haven't got the chance to. But I saw it. It's in great condition. Don't know if it's ever been read or only been read once. Spine hasn't been cracked. Yeah, fun little, silly, quick read. The Synthetic Man by Theodore Sturgeon, 35 cents. Let's see, this was published originally in 1950. This printing was 1961. It's a pretty trippy cover. Theodore Sturgeon, he's one of the original sci-fi pulp fiction writers from the 40s. Have not read a whole lot of him, but good little pickup. And then Ray Bradbury, I have a collection. You might be able to see it on the screen. It might be slightly out of focus. I did not have this one, which is Something Wicked This Way Comes. Let's see. Is this a collection or is this an actual novel? This looks like a novel. Most of what I've read by him are short story collections. I've read a couple. Fahrenheit 451. But yeah, Ray Bradbury was a good pickup. Now, I have a couple other books as well I picked up there. I collect Wodehouse, as you've been informed earlier in this story. I also collect Arthur Conan Doyle and Sherlock Holmes. In this, let's see, there we go. This is The Sign of the Four, which is a Sherlock Holmes, but it has an introduction by P.G. Wodehouse. It's a very cool, there we go, fun little cover, funky little signs. It kind of reminds me of the Beatles. And maybe not the Beatles, but it's got some funky lettering. But that's pretty good. I might have to put this in my Wodehouse collection because I have the complete works of Arthur Conan Doyle. So this would already be in there. So it probably makes more sense over there. Also got some Borges. I haven't read him. I heard quite a bit about him. Haven't read anything, but nice, easy pickup. Vibrant Paradoxes, The Both and of Catholicism by Robert Barron. Don't read a whole lot of theological books, but this one looked interesting. I'm not Catholic, but I've heard about Robert Barron. I know he has a YouTube channel. He goes and he talks about things. And I've had listened to some podcasts where he was interviewed. So, maybe I'll read this. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get into it, and then I'll be done. Then I got a cool cookbook as well. This is baking. Nice, simple. In the Sweet Kitchen, the Definitive Baker's Collection. I have a good book, cookbook collection. Whether or not I end up using this, I can put it on the shelf, and if I don't use it, I'll get rid of it. So all of that was $5 plus the $20 for those 6 Wodehouse. On top of that, one last book. We have a used bookstore in town, and we just stopped by today after church, and I picked up Run, Come See Jerusalem, a breathtaking time chase through history. This cost me $1.50. That cover, there we go, getting shot out in the mountain somewhere with fire behind. Kind of reminded me of Inception. I think that's just because there's one of the scenes in Inception is a firefight in snow. Now, if you have watched any of this and enjoyed it, make sure you comment which book out of these do you think I should read next, and whichever one gets the most comments, or if you see a comment, like it, and I will read that one. and do a video about it. I'm not going to read this and do a video about it, so that's out of the running. But any of these other ones, quick recap. So just a random collection of books, bunch of sci-fi. These are all my double features. Here are my time travel. Here are my analog sci-fi magazines. And then some PG Wodehouse. So, thank you for watching, and tell me what books to read next.